Welcome to This Is Jen, episode 46. Huge day over here because my stand-up comedy special is finally out. After all of this time and effort, the people I almost killed along the way, everything that we put into it, it is finally out. I'm so excited about this. You can watch it on Amazon, on Apple TV, I think Google Play. Look, I don't know. We're all going to watch it on Amazon or Apple TV, right? They gave me this long list of places where you can see it. It's Amazon. It's Apple TV. I think I will have details up at naughtycornercomedy.com. They're not up yet, but I think by the time we get this uploaded, they will be up. naughtycornercomedy.com. Thank you to my Patreon member who suggested that. Because with the name Naughty Corner, there are a lot of, if it's like Jen's Naughty Corner, it just gives people the wrong impression. So thank you to the Patreon member who suggested naughtycornercomedy.com. I am doing an epic selfie contest. I want you to post just the most ridiculous off-the-wall selfie that you possibly can with the special playing in the background. Tag me on whatever, preferably Instagram or Twitter. It's a little harder for me to see this kind of thing on Facebook, but give it a shot if all you have is Facebook. Take your epic selfie, tag me, use the hashtag naughtycornercomedy. I will be following all of these, and at random, I will contact you guys and be mailing out little special freebie gifts, like this is a very special thing here that we had made. Is this not the best door hanger? Shady, welcome to the show, as always, Shady. Can you read this door hanger for us?
My love language is being left alone in silent rooms.
So I will be picking people at random to be sending stuff like this out to. Oh, it has the special on the back. It is not available for sale anywhere. So you want to get in on the epic selfie contest, use the hashtag naughtycornercomedy. Tag me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is you do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, sadly, this should be a fun day over here. This should be a day of joy and celebration. Should it not?
It should.
Shady, should it not?
It should be the best day.
Should be the best day.
We're going to say good day.
No, I'm going to take back everything I ever said about euthanasia. I did, just get a Dutch doctor over here right now with a sledgehammer. I've lived a good life. It's time for me to be put out of my misery. It's too much. And this is the point. I think it was the last episode. I was talking about Biden's pick for the coronavirus task force is this guy who's like, let's all die. Let's all die. Let's just not be older than 75. And I was talking about euthanasia culture. This is why, because people like me, it doesn't take much for us to find life to be not worth living, for us to just be like, Jesus, take me now. So here's what happened, friends. Would you like to hear this story?
Yes.
No, they wouldn't. They're all like, nobody cares, Jen. Your drama, everyone who has followed me for any length of time is like, okay, so you got yourself in over your head with a harebrained scheme that was entirely your fault and maybe an insane idea in the first place. And now you're mad because it's ruined your life. Well, yes, friends, you're exactly right. That is what has happened. So at the last minute, I had the genius idea of creating an influencer gift package. So this just for friends who they've got public presences, they have social media accounts, and I would put together a little package. And this is a sample package. And look, Shady, is this not a fun package? We have popcorn containers and a little popcorn for when you watch my special. The door hanger, and there's more. There's so much more. It's a whole little
and so much
more. And I'm sending it to a bunch of people. And by the way, at least a few people will be listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube who will be like, Jen, we kind of know each other. I'm an influencer. Why didn't I get one? The cutoff was people I felt comfortable asking for their addresses. It is a little weird when someone you're not friends with DMs you and is like, hey, where do you live? And that's essentially what I had to do to get these sent out. So it was just people that I felt comfortable. They have some kind of public presence, and I thought it wouldn't be too weird to ask for their addresses.
Just a tiny weird.
just a tiny bit weird. And I did guess wrong on some.
Huh.
A few people have left me on red.
Great. Well,
And they just
won't
didn't.
be getting one.
Yeah, right. And
They
so
will
I
find
clearly
out
made
why.
them feel uncomfortable. They do not want my influencer package. But some really big names said yes. I don't want to name any names, but I am a big fan of just asking people, just reaching out. I've talked about this before on the podcast. This started years ago when I was like 22, and Joe and I were at a very fancy dinner, and I happened to know that one of the guests of honor at the big fancy person where all the rich people sit at the nice table was a famous author. And I had just finished her book. And this was a very distinguished woman in her 60s and from a very prominent family. And so I was just awestruck that I was in the same room with her. And this was in Austin. I lived in Austin, and I happened to know that she was also local. She's from Austin. And so Joe says to me, "Oh, you're a fan of hers. You should ask her to lunch." And I was like, "You're smoking crack. Are you kidding me? She's a best-selling author. Like, I think she had recently been to the White House. I mean, super prominent woman." And Joe said, Joe's a little older than I am, and he had been to all these fancy schools, and Joe just knew more about how the world works than I do. And he said, "Look, what you have to understand is that every person is always honored to be asked. I mean, unless you're like world famous. Okay, who's the Harry Styles? He's very famous,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, if you're Harry Styles, maybe you do get hit up so often that it gets old. But anyone who is on a lower level of fame than that, they're honored when you ask, especially if you're not asking them for something in return. You're not asking them for promotion. You know, you're not
let's just go to lunch.
Right. Yeah. And they can always say no. It's that happens sometimes, and they can always say, "I'd love to," you know, they're not able to do so, but it's cool to be asked. So Joe says, "You have to go ask her to lunch because I know you'd enjoy that." And I said, there's not even a chance. This is insane. Like, I'm 22 and an absolute nobody. Like, you've lost your mind. In typical Joe fashion, he says, "If you don't do it, I'm going to do it for you." And then that makes me super weird.
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm some weirdo who doesn't even know how to use words.
And be like,
and I have to have my boyfriend, like, speak for me. Like, I'm a ventriloquist. He's like my sock puppet. Like, "Would you like to go out to lunch?" Right, yeah. So weird. So if you know anything about my husband, Joe, he would definitely do it. For sure, he would do it. So I go up to her, and I'm just stammering, like, "Mrs. So-and-so, I just finished your book, and I'm a big fan, and I get, like, I'm not trying to be weird. I mean, I'm not a stalker." It was so bizarre. Finally, I spit it out, and I said, "I'd love to be a writer one day. Is there any way I could ever take you to lunch?" And I was ready to be tasered after the sentence left my mouth. I was ready for her to call the guards, and they're like, bzz, you know, and haul me away.
Yeah.
And she said, "I'd love to." And she gave me her number, and we went out to lunch. And to this day, we still exchange Christmas cards. I see her at events sometimes. And now, you know, so many years have gone by. Now we're kind of peers. Like, when we go out to lunch, it's just a totally different. I've written more books than she has at this point. It just goes to show there is no harm in asking. And you would be amazed with whatever you're trying to do in life if you just ask. If, let's say, you have a son or daughter who would love to work in a certain field, have them write a letter to the CEO of maybe the big local company that's in the field they'd like to work for, and say, I'm a high school student. I'm really passionate about this space. Would you ever have 15 minutes that I could stop by your office and ask you a few questions? If you make it clear that there are some specific things you'd like to know, there's a clear time limit on it. You're not going to talk their ear off for 2 hours, and you will be respectful of their time. You would be amazed at how many people say yes. When I was first starting out, I got the guy who was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list at the time. I got him on the phone. I had to tell him I had to go. He was like giving me so many tips. I was like, "Okay, we've been on the phone for like an hour. I really got to run." All because I just emailed his public address and said, "I'm writing a book. I'd love to get your tips." So I have been the DMing queen, DMing celebrities like crazy, big celebrities. Well, not like Harry Styles big, but people that most people wouldn't be bold enough to DM. So I DM them. I say, my comedy special's coming out. I'm doing a gift package. And I also say, no pressure to promote. I'm not asking you to promote. It would just be cool for me to celebrate with some of my favorite people. And I will say, I'm also being sincere. I'm not sending any of these to people I'm like, oh, I hate them, but they have a huge following. It is only people that I can sincerely say they have inspired me along the way. And I would honestly, even if they don't say a word about it, it would just be an honor for me to send them this stuff. So quite a few big names have said yes. And then also not just big names, but some people that you might not have heard their name, but that, they're not super well known, but they're in such a different world and industry. I didn't expect them to say yes. Like, one of it is an up and coming hip hop star, this young guy. And I just like, why does he want anything about my comedy special? He sent back the nicest response. Like, I will absolutely promote. I can't wait. I'm so honored that you put me on the list. So that sounds fun. Sounds like Jen's life is great and fun.
Yeah.
Right now, right? So for the people that were very important to, the ones that I were like, I can't believe they said yes. I can't believe this person said yes. I sent out the packages in the first shipment. Now, if you've never shipped in bulk, if you haven't had a lot of experience shipping here in the United States of America, here's how you calculate shipping. Here, let's do this. We'll do this live. We'll do this live on the air here. We'll calculate shipping for a package. So let's say you have an amazing goodie bag full of goodies that you want to send to important people. So here's what you do. You go to random.org. That's a random number generator. And you put in, let's give it all the options. Like, just put in, some huge max number. You hit generate on your random number generator. And then what do we have? Oh, 95,946. That's the amount of postage you should put on that package. And that's how you find out, is from random.org. You use a random number generator. Now, if you have any questions about this process, then what you do is you get out a magic 8-ball and you shake it. And that is how you find out more about any questions you have about shipping. So currently, the United States Postal Service and I are we don't have a meeting of the minds as to whether this is an envelope or a package. And there is even great division within the post office. One gentleman, I got postage at an office place where they do this. And the lady said, oh yeah, I do this all day, every day. It's an envelope and we can do flat rate. She said, you have to keep it under a certain weight. So this is an 8-ounce package. She said, I do this all the time. I'll give you flat shipping, print out the thing, and you just put it on there. So I go to the post office, and I said to a guy there, does this look good? Everything look right? He said, absolutely, ma'am. I'll take your bulk packages. This is great. So I went the next day to do the next shipment, massive stack of packages, and the woman there says, whoa, no, that's not an envelope. This is a package, not an envelope. So, and totally different. Like, you have to do custom, you have to get tracking, you have to send it by zip code. So she said, no, you can't just ship this. We have to do a whole rigmarole for each package. She didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing. But she's basically like, it's going to take 5 hours to process each one of these because we have to calculate the postage and do the tracking. And there's no stamps. You, unassuming viewer or listener, for those of you watching on YouTube, you might see this and think, I bet that I could just put a bunch of stamps on that and drop it in the mail, and it would be fine. Nay, you'd be wrong, and they would all get returned. I just got back from the post office. I am on fire. I am in fuego. I showed up with this massive thing of these things that I had been told by not one but 2 people it's an envelope, so you can just do, it's like using stamps. Like, you can just do the right amount of postage. And the woman that she was being nice, but she was like, denied, thumbs down. You can't ship these. And I was like, she was like, because it's a package, so we have to do package postage. And I was like, well, what will that cost? And she says, well, it varies by zip code. So again, we have to like write War and Peace, like type it into her system as, you know, she's calculating all these different rates. So first of all, it's twice as expensive. And we had already budgeted, gone a little bit over budget. It is not cheap to ship like this, but I thought this is a lot of fun. I don't have a book coming out anytime soon. I'm not under book contract. Lord knows when I'll do. My next special is going to be me with my iPhone sitting in a silent room because of coronavirus. Like, this is the last time for a while I will have anything big to promote. So I thought, let's just, you know, my record label was willing to help out, but it came out at the last minute. So I said, we had a marketing budget set aside. Let's go ahead and max it out and then some. I'm in a go bigger, go home mentality about this. The cost just doubled because it is considered a package. So I'm sitting there at the post office and it is, so I didn't know today is actually a very exciting day. Today is National Everyone Ship Everything to Everyone Day. So the post office literally had a line out the door. And I thought I had this massive thing full of envelopes. I thought that I could just drop it and leave like I did before. And she had to like type in the thing and get the additional postage for each one. The people at the post office wanted to kill me. They were glaring at me. Everyone was grumbling because there were only 2 people there. I held up the whole post office line. I am very hated at my local post office with good reason. But what we're really leading up to is this lady said to me, she said, about how many have you already shipped? And I said, probably about 100. Why? She said, I think they will all be returned. But because it's such bulk, we can't just stuff 100 of those, you know, laws of physics. We can't just stuff 100 of those in your personal mailbox. So we'll probably hold them at the post office. We're looking at days and days of delay. And this brings me back to get a Dutch doctor in here. It's time for me to be euthanized. Because keep in mind, I lost the money on the previous postage. So I spent all that money on that postage. And now I will have to double it
still their fault?
For the package. I want to sue everyone.
It's still their fault.
I'm mad at the world. I'm firing blindly. Like, who can I make pay for this?
It's their fault. They should be giving you your money back.
Who's they? The post office?
The 2 employees that told you that it was right and took it. They shouldn't have done that.
I know.
That's not your fault.
Well, have you ever tried to deal with the post office? Right, I'll go down there like, I demand justice, and they'll sit there and stare at me. Yeah, right, okay, seriously, I'll send Shady down there. Plus, I have a socially distanced speaking engagement, and I'm going out of town for it. So I will be gone while all of this is playing out. All of this is to say, you know what? A lot of times I have a meaningful point for your life, like friends. What I learned here. So here's the meaningful point here. I didn't really have one. You might be surprised to hear that I'm just riffing. Friends, life is a farce. Life is a joke. Don't try to do anything ever. Because you try to send out your influencer packages, you go broke in the process. And then, by the way, by the time all these things are returned, I'm into Thanksgiving week. Mm-hmm. Nobody is even online during the holidays. And then we go into Christmas and Advent and you know, people just miss promotions. I will have missed my window. Friends, don't try. Don't try to do anything. If I had just sat in my house drinking all week, it literally would have been a better use of time than of me. I put these together by hand with love. Look at this. There's even a chocolate.
A chocolate?
But I can't hold up a green one because it'll mess up our
small,
green screen. This is blue. Okay, I think this will work.
It's a little chocolate.
A little bit of chocolate. It's a bit of chocolate. This was and I put each one. I was like, oh, so-and-so celebrity who was so kind as to give me her home address even.
Chocolate.
chocolate. I'm going to put an extra one in her envelope. Oh, and now it's just going to sit around in the USPS. I don't even know
chocolate.
if they're going to heck with this whole situation with chocolate. Look, guys, don't try to do anything in life. My friends I knew from high school that were just hippies and they just smoked pot all the time and they had no ambition.
Right idea.
They're all, living in rundown like a little trailer somewhere by a river, but they're happy.
So happy.
They're happy. I'm not happy. I'm miserable because I was like, I'm going to stay off of drugs and have an impact on the world. And I regret it. I shouldn't have done that. It was the wrong decision.
It's not too late.
And my friend Brad from high school, he's probably hitting the bong right now, and he's a happy man. He had the right idea. All that dare, the drug abuse resistance education, they lied to me. They set me up for failure. I've just Quaaludes, Valium, I could have gone a different direction. What else do we have to talk about today? This shirt that I am wearing, this is what I wore to film the special. So this is the same shirt when you watch my stand-up comedy special. And why would you not want to after this fine opening to such a podcast of excellence? Join my Patreon, just so much more. Because you can't get enough of this, right? Someone throwing a package across the room, screaming about shipping rates. I think that's what everyone wants from a podcast. Patreon.com/thisisjen if you can't get enough of this. After we're about to talk about COVID rules for celebrating Thanksgiving. After that, I will tell you what this shirt cost. And if you don't already know, people who follow me on Instagram might know. You won't believe it. You really won't believe it. I want you to start thinking, and if you're listening on audio, you've probably seen pictures at this point from my stand-up comedy special. So it's that one. It's, what would you say, Shay? It's gray with some black.
What kind of print is it?
Vague animal prints.
Yeah, it's a vague animal print.
This is it's definitely some sort of lethal
like a
animal.
black and gray
which is, when I go back to the
print
post
almost.
office today, we'll correctly warn them, this woman looks like a tiger.
Yes.
A vague, gray on black tiger. Don't play games with it. Enough of this, we're going to have to double this postage. They're all getting returned. So just call to mind that image if you're listening on audio. You won't believe what I paid for this. Get in your mind. You're like, how much could a sweater cost? What's the max a sweater could cost? You're wrong, whatever it is you're thinking. So after we talk about COVID rules for Thanksgiving, I will reveal. It'll be the big reveal. If I had my sound effects set up, we'd have a drum roll. But you know what? Hang on. We might have a drum roll. You know what? Let's test it. Shady.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This podcast is just amazing. Do we have? Wait, I have a buzzer. How about that? That's my life. You know what? This is what's the soundtrack to Jen's life right now? Hey, could I mail this envelope? Oh, do you guys even consider it an envelope? No, it's a package. Hey, can I not blow $1,000 on this? Oh, no. Oh, that's amazing. Boy, okay. So I don't have, how do I not have this? It doesn't seem, right, thank you, Shady. Wait, I have trumpets. There we go. Okay, I'll do that. So get ready. Get ready to hear about this sweater. Okay, so, where is this story? Okay, so there have been some edicts issued in California. Headline here, news headline, California Thanksgiving mandate. No more than 3 households can attend dinner outside and 6 feet apart. So they're telling us how we can celebrate Thanksgiving in our own homes. Now, this is really something to be read. And by the way, I feel like they're not thinking outside the box enough, because you're about to hear all of these mandates of what people are supposed to be doing in California. Other states have something similar. But I don't hear any real creative solutions here. For example, what about if we all just wore hazmat suits? How about that? While the government is blowing money on all this other stuff, why not each person gets a hazmat suit? And we wear them forever. At this point, I'm ready for that. I don't want to hear any more talk about future lockdowns. I'm tired of this inside the box thinking. We need to have galaxy brain. We need to have new paradigms. Like, there's just an order that the government will send every man, woman, and child a hazmat suit. And we wear them inside the house just to be safe. Like, you just wear them 24/7. You don't even need to shower anymore because nobody would know.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, you just like, you could be totally gross and nobody would know because you're inside a hazmat suit. Let's just say that we will all live in hazmat suits until the spring, until next summer maybe. And I'm sure they have a way you can like go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
probably,
something.
right?
Hopefully.
So enough of this. We're going to put a bunch of more small businesses out of business and we're locking everyone down and you can't even look at anyone on Thanksgiving. Let's just all wear hazmat suits. Or you could have people driving around with trucks full of bleach mixed with antibacterial soap and a fire hose. And you just hose everybody down. I'm just tired of this. It just seems like every time we're worried about coronavirus, all we think of is lockdown. I would like for us to think a little more outside of the box. Like, we could also do like space helmets, like a bubble. That could be fashionable.
I saw something like that.
And then also we could start wearing lip gloss again. I predict, by the way, buy stock in glossy lip gloss because none of us women can wear it right now because the mask, like, it ends up all over your face.
Rude.
I predict whenever it is we have a vaccine, first thing is like the glossiest lips, just dripping with gloss are coming back. So I think that we're not thinking outside of the box enough. I think that 24/7 hazmat suits are what we should be going for, possibly having everyone hosed down with bleach, just randomly. All right, so over in California, other states have something similar. Reading from this news article here, families are permitted, they're allowed to host Thanksgiving dinner in outdoor spaces that are covered by umbrellas, canopies, awnings, roofs, and other shade structures, provided that there's at least 3 sides of the space. So, provided that 3 sides of the space are open. Now, what if I want to do it in the middle of a field? They make it sound like you have to have a roof. No, I want to gather my kin in the middle of a football field. Why does it have to be covered? They make it sound like I have to have an awning, roof, or canopy. We want to sit in the middle of a field. And I just feel like it's a free country. And if I want to have Thanksgiving dinner in the middle of a field, I should be able to do that.
I agree.
The guidance says no more than 3 households are permitted, including hosts and guests. Now, they obviously do not come from Catholic culture here. Do you know how many people I could assemble with 3 households? I mean, I know, let's see, one
There's
family
like 14
I know.
just in mine.
Yeah, so Shady comes from a family of 14. We are a family of 8. What's 8 plus 14? That's it's the 22.
Me, I don't think
it is, right? It's 20. It's not this. It's not a math doing kind of day. It has to be. It's 22. So just our 2 families, that's 22 people. I know someone, they have 8 kids, so that would be 32. So 3 families together, we could have. So, but then I know people who have only children. It's 3 of them. So it just seems like you should do a max number of people. Because if 3 families with only children gets together, that's 9 people. If these crazy Catholics get together under the same ordinance,
like 48.
You're right. It's at least 32 people with these big Catholic families. And the nice thing about putting a number on it is you can disinvite the relatives you don't want to see. You know, like, well, Uncle Bob, I mean, we would, but the governor,
number,
you know, that is the governor. We would have loved.
It's already pretty tight.
Yeah, for you and Aunt Matilda to make it, but we're over the number. So they should do a number, not based on households. But it also seems like there should be a space per person ratio. Because let's say you have 3 small families, so it's 9 people total, but the awning that you're under with the 3 sides on it is like 10 feet by 10 feet.
Yeah.
You're all getting coronavirus. That's not a safe environment. Whereas perhaps I want to do my Thanksgiving in the middle of the Grand Canyon. That's what I want to do. I'm gathering my people. That's the plan. I'm gathering them in the middle of the Grand Canyon. Well, so that I should be able to have like 50 people there because we're in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, there's so much space.
There should be some ratio of people to space. And this is what I mean. They're not thinking outside of the box. I want to see more outside of the box thinking here. Listen to this. Thanksgiving 2020, people. No passing of mashed potatoes, cranberry salad, or turkey on a platter is allowed this year. I'm reading from a news.
So they're saying no passing each other food.
Right. Well, but what's weird is, okay, this news article says.
What about the gravy?
Right. Thank you. Evidently, you can pass the gravy because I don't see it on this list. So, like, you can have the gravy and, like, sneeze into, like, all right, here we go. But not the cranberry salad.
Don't touch that turkey.
Not the cranberry salad. As an aside, I know someone who went vegan 2 years ago, and they showed up at Thanksgiving dinner with tofurkey.
My sister eats that. She's vegan.
Tofurkey?
Yeah.
Let that ship sail.
It's really bad.
Just bring a head of lettuce and be like, just eat it directly from the head of, like, don't try to make it meat. Tofurkey is just, it's sad. It is, your life is really in a bad place if you're bringing tofurkey. Did it look like a turkey?
It did not look like a turkey.
It was just a blob of soy?
Yeah, I also brought, like, instead just the burgers, like the vegan patties, and she ate one of those instead. But
okay, sort of vegan patties, because at least it's just a mishmash of, okay. So, okay, no passing of mashed potatoes, cranberry salad, or turkey on a platter. So they say on a platter. So what if I just use my hands, like I manhandle it, and I grab it, I'm like, here's this turkey.
That sounds good to me.
It sounds like I can do that because it said on a platter.
You're not passing it.
Right. Or what if you catapult it? What if you have a catapult on the table? Okay, and cannot be served communal style. I mean, you don't want to say that defeats the entire purpose of, like, isn't Thanksgiving about doing things communal style? At this point, they should have just said, scrap Thanksgiving. If we can't do Jen's hazmat suit idea, that is admittedly a very good idea, they should have just said, Thanksgiving 2020 in the United States, it's National Stare at a Wall Day. Stare at a wall in a dark room by yourself and keep your mask on. And because at least then we're not playing games with, well, you can have Thanksgiving, but you have to be under an awning with 3 walls and out with 2 other families, and if the wind blows, you have to turn, just like tell us to stay home and stare at a wall.
What if we get those big gerbil suits that you get in that are like those big balls? The big plastic balls that you can get inside?
It's a suit or it's a ball?
Okay, so like the things you put in your pet in to roll around?
Yeah,
the
gerbil balls.
They have those big for humans that are blowing up.
Oh, and they're soft, right? Okay, so yes, I want to see a world.
Just rolling around with your food in there, just like trying not to.
Wouldn't the food get all over the inside of the ball, though? That would be amazing. You're walking in your gerbil ball with gravy slathered everywhere. And then you trip and you're like, like there's gravy dripping down the walls of the
I see it being the worst, but also the best.
Happy Thanksgiving 2020. Oh, that's a vision, Shady. See, and this is the kind of outside of the box thinking our nation needs. I just don't think that we should jump to lockdown as the only coronavirus answer ever. Okay, so and it would I would sort of have fun enforcing this. We don't have a big enough family that we have interpersonal issues, like those people over there we don't get along with. Joe and I both are only children, so we don't have a lot of these dynamics. But if I had a family where everyone was kind of annoying me, it would be kind of fun to be the governor of California coronavirus task force enforcer. Like someone tries to pass me the turkey and I just slap the whole platter out of their hand. Like, no, the governor says no. There is no let's see, turkey, or don't you pass me that cranberry salad or potatoes.
Don't even look
yams, you can pass me. All right, give me the yams. Thank you. It wasn't on the governor's list. Get those mashed potatoes out of my face. You can push them across the table at me, but you cannot pass them to me. Again, catapult, let's keep slingshot, let's keep all of our options open. A place to wash hands or use hand sanitizer must be available.
Isn't that always available?
It's always available, but like, do you need a place to use hand sanitizer? Isn't that anywhere you are at all? You can carry hand sanitizer on you. Like, get thee to the hand sanitizer corner. Station. That is where we use the Purell. You stand right there. You can't just like use hand sanitizer wherever. Get to the hand sanitizer closet.
It's flammable.
Please. Food or beverages must be in single-serve, disposable containers.
What?
Take that, Mother Earth.
How are we going to do that?
Yeah, well, okay. I like how we're like, let's not with the environment. Like, let's just fill up some landfills. Like, we don't even care. Let's just, everything, if I looked at that stack of plastic utensils, like I breathe near them, they all go to the landfill. Now, why can't we wash plates?
But
how does that spread coronavirus?
How are you going to cook in bulk and then put it in single-serve containers for everyone afterwards?
No, I think you have to cook it in single serving. It says.
So is each person making their own personal?
Yeah, right. Yeah, our own. You know how at the grocery store they have Hungry Man dinners?
That's just
just like, let's just do that. Screw the environment. Like, let's just throw all our stuff away.
Movies was open.
More plastic. A place, food and beverage must be in single serve. So yeah, it does. So do we cook it that way?
So
do
you
serve
pre-package it, and then they just walk up and grab like a container of mashed potatoes, like buffet style. Like,
but I didn't know this whole time. Coronavirus has been going on for many a moon at this point. Are we not supposed to be washing dishes? I hadn't heard this coronavirus mandate because we've had some socially distanced, like we had some people watching TV in our backyard and I think they used some plates and I washed them. I mean, am I a super spreader? I didn't know that you can't wash plates during coronavirus. I didn't think that was how it was spread, especially if you wear gloves or something. Also, if you're passing it around by slingshot, as you're supposed to do,
yeah.
How does that spread? I don't understand why I can't use a plate. That's all I'm saying. Here we have the best part, Shady. Families and attendees should wear masks in between bites. This is in the news. I'm reading from an actual news article. Families and attendees should wear masks in between bites. Now, if we're doing this in the Grand Canyon, all of us spread out, I think we could take
this have been a rule at restaurants?
Right, well, right, yeah. Okay, this is an excellent point.
Everyone's
It's not a rule at restaurants, and clearly they have never seen my folk eat Thanksgiving dinner. There is no in-between bites.
Yeah, no, there's like only biting.
There is, there's only biting. It is on Thanksgiving dinner. It is one continuous flow of food into my mouth. I can't even guarantee I will use a fork and knife. It might be full Neanderthal style. Maybe this is a tofurkey thing. This is California. Maybe this person is vegan, and so they're like, with the food I eat at Thanksgiving, I have nothing to live for.
Again by mistake. They will never do that.
Right. Or maybe they're just like, the food I eat is such garbage. I have a little bite and I reflect on it and I'm mindful and I meditate for a bit and then I have another bite. But those of us who are having the turkey with gravy and the sausage stuffing and the drippings, there's in between bites.
There's none.
They have clearly never been
I have to breathe.
To the kind of Thanksgiving. I don't breathe when I eat Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, it is just a constant, it's like a superhighway of food into my mouth, and it does not stop. The mandate, now this is the most beautiful part.
Oh, no.
The mandate also discourages singing, chanting, shouting, and exercising. The playing of music and wind instruments, or any instruments that touch a musician's mouth. So
no fun.
there goes my harmonica solo, my traditional harmonica solo that I play My Country 'Tis of Thee on the harmonica.
Before we break the wishbone.
Right. Every year. And now they're telling me I can, and then Shady gets the kazoo out.
Of course.
And we exercise while we chant.
Yes.
And then other people sing behind us. And then, well, like, what are we going to do now?
The mariachi band has to leave. We gotta...
Yeah, well, what's the mariachi band going to do? What even is Thanksgiving if I cannot play a wind instrument? Cancel the whole thing. So I can't take my clarinet? I can't take my clarinet.
Yeah, leave your
to the Thanksgiving table. So do I have to put my mask back on in between my clarinet and oboe solos? This isn't the Thanksgiving I know. You can't chant. You can't chant.
No chanting?
That is the centerpiece of my family's Thanksgiving, chanting.
I think we'd be talking too loud right now. They said no shouting or anything.
No shouting? Well, and then exercise, because I know this is California.
You're going to be jogging right after,
right? I know that when people are like, Jen, free association, what words, when you think Thanksgiving, what do you think of? I'm like, exercise.
Pull-ups.
Chanting. Yeah, right. The Pilates and
flugelhorn.
Yeah, and what's that you get down on the ground then you jump? Burpees?
Burpees, yeah.
Burpees, that's what I think. And saxophone, did you already say that?
I said flugelhorn, but
yeah.
Sax.
Tuba and singing. I mean, that's me, that is the sum total of what Thanksgiving is. And I just don't even want to celebrate it. No. If we, I mean, this is just ridiculous. If I can't play my trombone, then I'm not doing it. I'm just not.
I'm not in, dude. I'm not in.
So I think that Shady and I have pretty much solved this. Adult hamster wheels.
Yep.
3 weeks ago, I would have been kidding. But now that we are where we are as a country, and we're talking about doing another round of quarantine, I want to state for the record that I will literally roll around in a hamster ball.
Yes.
Happily for the rest of my life. If we can just keep things open, keep the kids in school, get our businesses back to being thriving businesses, I will wear a hazmat suit in my hamster ball. And per Shady's idea, I'll keep my Thanksgiving dinner in there. And when I trip and I fall, it'll be all over the walls. And I'll be bouncing down the hill with
Imagine
splattered
people trying to grocery shop, trying to get through crazy Christmas shopping at the mall, and we're all just running into each other and falling everywhere.
Or for a birthday celebration, Grandmama, here's your cake. We spent $3. Oh!
You fall and it's everywhere. Roll down the escalator on accident.
This is the world I want to see. This is the world I want to see. All of us rolling around in hamster balls all the time. You think I'm kidding? But I'm not. We are at that point of 2020 where I'm ready to sign up for it, and it is a serious suggestion. So I'm willing to not do my harmonica solo at Thanksgiving if we can just all wear hazmat suits in our hamster balls and make this happen. Okay, final note. So this sweater, when you watch the Naughty Corner stand-up comedy special, which is now out on Apple TV, Amazon, I think it's Amazon and Amazon Prime. As of this recording, those details have not fully coalesced. But just search for it on Amazon. The Naughty Corner stand-up comedy special, Jen Fulwiler, Fulwiler. You can look that up. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. The shirt I am wearing right now is the shirt that I wore for that taping. As you all know, I self-produced this tour. Hallie Lord and I booked it just using my personal credit card, cold calling theaters. Shady was a huge part of making that happen. And so this was a true business. I was very much starting a business with the amounts of money that were flying back and forth with this. Now, one of the things I faced throughout this tour was that I kept looking like garbage under these stage lights. And it was not good. I would have an outfit that looked super sleek and it looked great, and I just wore simple all black in the hotel. Fine, it looked perfectly professional, just a basic black outfit. I would get under those stage lights, and it looked like I was wearing trash bags up there on that stage. And then I'd see people tagging me on social media, and they were so sweet and they were so kind, and we had so much fun at the show. And I looked so bad in these pictures. So bad. It was unbelievable. And what I realized is that fabrics that look all right in your hotel room, even when you're kind of walking around on a normal day, you get a bright stage spotlight on them, and they look like garbage. So this went on. And with the special coming up, I thought, I can sort of barely survive having very, very unflattering pictures of me all over social media. I cannot survive. I can't have the special. I can't have my clothes looking trashy in the special, especially that I've mentioned before, Spirit Juice Studios. They invested in this as much as I did. So it wasn't the special, and how well it does and how good it looks is not just about me. The whole Spirit Juice team got in on this. So I said, I have an obligation to do my best in every way, do the best comedy, get it sold out, and not look like I am wearing trash bags on this stage. So I searched high and low, and finally I decided that it was time to pull out the big guns. And I rolled up to Neiman Marcus. I explained my issue to do I have a cha-ching sound? Let's see. Now I have a ding. I explained my issue to this woman at Neiman Marcus, and she said, "Oh yes, friend, yes, we folk here at Neiman Marcus have just the shirt for you." So she showed me this shirt, and I did some tests. I took it out like right by where the sun would hit it. I shone my camera flashlight on it, and I could just kind of tell from the fabric that it was going to look good. And I knew it wouldn't be cheap. We are at Neiman Marcus after all. But I said, this isn't about fashion. This isn't about me wearing this out to a restaurant. This is a business investment. An enormous amount of money has been put into this tour, in this special, by all parties. And so if it's a couple $100, that is a rounding error in the grand scheme of what it takes to pull this together. So I was pretty much ready to just pay whatever it was. So I had already tried it on, so I take it off, and I look at the price tag. You know how much it costs, right?
No, I never found out.
Okay. So this, everyone take a good look. See this sweater. The men especially they won't even know that this is possible. Okay, so we have the trumpet. The sound effect is called trumpet fanfare. The sweater that I am wearing right now, audio listeners, you can look it up on YouTube. Search for Fulweiler, Fulwiler 46. That is the number of this episode. Fulweiler 46. It'll come up. You can see the shirt. No. Just watch it on my stand-up comedy special, The Naughty Corner. It is on Amazon and Apple TV. Here's what this sweater cost. $700.
Whoa.
I am wearing a $700 shirt. Did you know
I had no idea.
So then get this. The back of it zips up.
Oh yeah.
The zipper broke off after I had worn it like 3 times. So look at this. Look. This.
Oh my goodness.
Can people see it, Shady?
I should be able to.
Yeah. So I have a safety pin. Holding up the back of my $700 sweater. So a lot of people ask me, they're like, my neighbor, for example, she's this wonderful, bold woman. You know my neighbor. Yeah. She's Gail. And she said, Jen, like she can't let this injustice stand. She's like, please let me go down to Neiman Marcus. I will get you a full refund. And I said, Gail, I bought at this point, I bought this months ago. I mean, I think that ship has sailed. She's like, no, I will go down there right now.
She's
you
like,
paid
that's
that.
3 cruises.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like, no, like that. Do you know what else you could have done with that money? So, this is where it is important to know your mission. so many of these wonderful women who have said, I've had not just Gil, a lot of people have said, I do not understand how you are not just down there screaming at these people. For me, it was a use of time. The sweater still works, and I realize it's a huge injustice. You should have a functioning zipper when you pay $700 for something, kind of a bare minimum requirement. So I see that, but one of my big things in recent years has been I prioritize my time ruthlessly. People ask me how I do it. They say, Jen, with 6 kids and all the stuff you have going on and the show and the tour and the special and books and all that. And well, frankly, I have a lot of help, especially from Shady. That's actually a big part of it. But the other thing is, even then, even if I didn't have any of that going on, that it would still be a lot. And one of my secrets is I am just ruthless about prioritizing my time. I am very acutely aware of the idea that if you choose to do one thing, like let's say go to a coffee shop and look at Instagram, you are choosing not to do something else with your time. I decided not to use the time. The sweater works well enough. Neiman Marcus won. I lost. Ask me if I will ever buy a $700 sweater from them again.
Maybe.
Right, actually. You know what? That's a touche, Shady. If it looks good under stage lights and it's a business expense, yeah, you're right. I'd be right back down there. Because I think we will have, I think in post we will be able to get up the videos of how I looked in the other outfits. That's another thing to look up if you're listening on audio. It was bad. And it's funny, a lot of people criticize me, oh, you spent $700 on a sweater. And then they see the videos of how I looked in the other outfits and they're like, that was a bargain. Like any amount of money to not look like that in your stand-up comedy special. So yeah, no, you're exactly right, Shady. I would pay any amount of money from anyone. Like it could be the same guy that put the zipper on this. If he designs something else for the same amount of money that also looks good under stage lights, then
he's
yeah,
like, it's gonna
yeah,
break
I'm
months,
yeah, you're right. I'm probably
he warns you.
Right.
It's gonna break.
Right. And I'll be like, well,
bad.
take my money, please.
Yeah,
like, please. So
everything that bends is broken, okay? Come on.
Right. So now whenever I wear this though, I'm always I don't want people to breathe near it or stand too close to it because it is simply too expensive for anyone to even
Don't even look at her.
I know. I'm like, don't look at my sweater. Like that's just I don't need anyone's
making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Just everyone. I need a security guard just for the sweater. So you will see the $700 sweater when you pull up the Naughty Corner stand-up comedy special. While I'm being tacky and talking about prices, the pants were only like $40 and the shoes were $20.
Oh my gosh.
So, and by the way, that was a very last-minute decision whether to wear flats or heels. In general, I like heels better, but I was under so much pressure that the very first Patreon episode I ever did, if you join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/thisisjen. Episode number 1, you get access to all the archives when you join. Episode number 1, I went into the full behind the scenes, behind the special that I legally cannot say publicly, but I dished everything on episode 1 of the Patreon, and it is behind that wall. You'll understand why when you hear it. So with everything I had going on, I ultimately decided not to wear my nice heels, and I just wore flats. And I don't love the way it looks, but I needed to be comfortable because I was under a lot of pressure. Like not just pressure like, oh, it's an 8-camera stand-up comedy shoot. Like pressure like you'll hear on the Patreon episode 1. Shady knows that sort of like it is unbelievable what was going on behind the scenes. It was a wreck. So speaking of train wrecks, I'll go ahead and wrap up this episode so that I can wait for all of my packages to be returned. Evidently, what I do in my life is I take $100 bills and I set them on fire, whether it is with expensive sweaters whose zippers break or by mailing things. Keep in mind, all the 100 things that will be returned. I mean, the postage, the wrong postage that I will evidently have to double was that was not cheap. They're all getting returned, so I lose that postage. And again, these are my top people, and now I'm going to have to double it to get them sent out. So anyway, life is fun. Don't try to do fun things. We should all, and this is good for coronavirus too. Just get your little hamster wheel sit in your house, stare at a wall, and stop having ambition. Stop having goals. It's a waste of time. So I'd like to end on that note. Stand-up naughtycornercomedy.com is where you can get the details about my stand-up comedy special. But honestly, there's not that much to know. Just search for, I don't know, Naughty Corner. Well, there's some weird stuff on Amazon. Maybe don't just generally pull up Amazon and type in Naughty Corner. Man, there's some weird stuff on there. So maybe search for Fulweiler, Fulwiler. It's a fun, family-friendly special. You can watch it during Thanksgiving when you're in a field, when you're in the middle of a Grand Canyon with your mask on in between bites. So you have your socially distanced Grand Canyon. Well, you do have to have a canopy and 3 walls. So when you have your canopy, 3 walls, Grand Canyon Thanksgiving, obviously as per tradition, you'll play your wind instruments, you'll exercise, and you'll chant and sing.
But don't touch the turkeys.
And you will not be passing anything. And then after that, you can watch the Naughty Corner special with your family. All right, I will be back next week. I'll give you guys an update. I'll tell you guys what's going on with my mailing drama. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back next week with episode 47 here on This Is Jen.